Hey, well, that was a fantastic tour. And as promised, you have an opportunity now to interrogate the participants. They were all desperately rushing to get it all in. There must be things that need to be pulled out a little bit. So, yes, I see a question here.
For Livia. My name is Petra. I am a. Where is Livia? Hi. So I feel like we could be friends. I'm a music therapist, and I'm mom to two adults on the autism spectrum. And I'm just wondering, when you were studying ABA, which I'm guessing was like fairly recently, or like when? Oh, okay. Yeah. So fairly recently. Um, did did your professors or whoever talk about the critiques coming from autistic self advocates, and just kind of like, yeah, just wanted your take on how you incorporate that, and yeah, just that whole, and I mean, for the rest of you, there's kind of a whole like controversy around ABA, and a lot of people say that it's, yeah, but you can, I'm sure you can say more about that, so I'm just curious what you think.
Yes, obviously I'm aware of that, and but I was never interested. I kind of understand the meaning of it, but I was never interested in politics. So what I do is I work with children, and I go by feeling my intuition. And so what I do in my work is kind of more like a mixture of things. I many times I think the major part of ABA therapy that was criticized is these little quick trials and the way the kids respond to it, or adults. But what I do is like that's just one little fraction. Whenever it works, it works, and then if it doesn't, I move to different um, ways of how approaching the problem and resolving it. Because it's every day I wake up, I go there, and I don't know what's gonna happen, and literally have to make decisions of like 2 seconds to use whatever is available, and if it's not working, I use something else. And so I'm aware of it to answer your question, but I work. I prefer to do whatever works best in a situation. So it's not just ABA what I do. And thank you for your work. I have amazing experience with musical therapy. We can maybe talk later.
Yeah, we should talk.
Yeah.
Can you say what does ABA stand for those who don't know?
Applied behavioral analysis.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I see another question here.
Hi, this is a question for Andrea Stanislav. I wonder whether she knows about Stefan Kochan, who is a great singer and who sang Vodnik in Rusalka many times. I think she should probably get in touch with him if she doesn't know him. He's a wonderful person too. I mean, I just know him sort of cursorily because I was an early fan, sang at the Met. Look him up, Stefan Kochan.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I will.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure he'll be fascinated by your idea of drowning a vodnik.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the opera, but thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay, I see another question.
Thank you. To our cinematographer, where is he? Yes, this might be a sort of an offbeat question, but being a professional that you are, what do you what do you think about the production design of Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein?
Yeah, I mean it's wonderful. Yeah, and all of his movies are amazingly imaginative and inspirational. And like I work with production designers kind of hand in hand, and depend greatly on their creativity and what they bring us. And I think it's part of the movie business that maybe doesn't get the credit that it should get, because I think I can only photograph what I have and what is in front of us, and that's what they create. That's what they bring to the table, and they spend months and months thinking about what is going to be, and we have the privilege and the luck of being on their sets and hopefully capturing it to the best that we can.
If the era of when that happened in wherever it was, Germany perhaps, I thought it was very, very exact and wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? I also have a question. Actually, I have two. So one of my questions is for Dr. Silverblatt, who happened to be my pediatrician. You wouldn't believe it, but I lived in Brooklyn Heights. I gave birth at Long Island College Hospital, and when I asked, like, search around for pediatricians, there is not one, but two Czech pediatricians in that area. And I was lucky to be recommended to Dr. Silverblatt. So my question for you is, I know you didn't do practice in Czech Republic, but you studied there. What was some biggest contradiction between what you were learning in Czech Republic when you were studying to be a doctor and how you do things here? Or you can mention more, but is there, if you could speak a little bit to that.
So I can't really say anything about practicing in Czech Republic because I never did. But what I can tell you is just the studies in Czech Republic are very, very different. We did have an excellent non-clinical education, but I have to admit that I have never actually touched a patient during my medical school. And I came and I started residency, and on my first day they said, hey, there's 17 newborns you have to discharge. And I said, that is great, but I've never seen a newborn. I don't have any children in my family. And so the learning curve was very, very different. It is also a different language. So it took me a very long time to learn the language, meaning medical language, which is different. But the basics were very similar. My journey included taking a exam called USMLE or ECFMG back then that all foreign graduates have to take to be eligible for residency in the United States. So I did that twice in Frankfurt, and those were exams that were 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon for 2 days. Twice, so that was an excruciating exam or exams, and but once you passed it, you were eligible to do residency. So, yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for Oliver. Has your product begun to find a market, and whether it has or not, where do you imagine it finding its early applications?
Well, thank you very much. So far, no, we've not found a market, but we are actively exploring markets. We have contacts mostly in the fashion and luxury industries, followed by aerospace and automotive. So that's what we're looking to break into. Fingers crossed.
I have actually a follow-up to that one. So is it mostly, when you say objects, you mean physical objects, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. So we're talking about implanting computer chips into those objects that verify the objects.
Because I think in the era of more and more AI in general, like this, and we had a presentation by Alička Pištěk on this topic, how to assign the product to its owner, how to make sure that information was not lost. It will be more and more relevant. So this is one concrete application, but overall, I think it's like a big innovation, and a lot will be happening there. So I think you'll definitely find your way.
Well, thank you very much. I think so too.
So good luck. Okay, are there more questions? So it's not just...
In the back.
Hi, I have a question for the behavioral therapist and the pediatrician, because I work with the families who have kids suffering from ADHD and autism at the same time. And my question is, I'm sorry, just give me a little bit. My question is, so how often do you see the families who have kids suffering from this kind of mental health issues? How important for them to work with other educators and supporting service providers? So that's my question. Yeah.
So you probably know, if you work with children, that there is a huge comorbidity between ADHD and autism. We know that about 80% of children who are on the spectrum also have ADHD, and it is inspiring a new diagnosis actually called AUDHD, which is coming sort of into use in the last year or so. I am a pediatrician, so what I took on was mostly a medication therapy, but in young children, and actually in all children, you cannot treat these conditions without therapy and without ABA in specific cases and in other form of therapies. It has to be a team approach, and you cannot just do medication, and you cannot, in many, many cases, just do therapy. For majority of children, combination is really, really important. It is not only therapy, but it also is education and special schools that we are seeing more and more of, because that's where children spend majority of their time.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention what you were asking about the parents. I work mostly with parents from underprivileged households, and it's at times very difficult to get them on board, because I do therapy for the child, but ultimately they spend the most of the time with the child. So my strategy for involvement and them using the strategy is to just work with the child for a little bit, and once they see, like in 2-3 days, that it makes a significant impact on their child, they get inspired, and that's how I hook them with like a toolbox. It's amazing. Once you see that happening, it makes me so happy, because there are families that don't get any support from family members or at school. They just wait for the therapist, and that's it. So it's kind of sad.
Thank you. I will actually kind of continue with this theme. I'm a teacher, and I work with elementary school students. I teach music, so I see close to 500 students every week. And I can say that there is definitely a growing number of students with autism, or students on the spectrum, and ADHD, all sorts of different levels of ADHD. And I sometimes wonder, because as an educator, I'm a little bit on the different side than you as a pediatrician. And I sometimes am just surprised that certain students, or some of my students, haven't been diagnosed early enough to be receiving services, because there is even in pre-K, they could already have IEPs and receive services, whether it's OT or speech or any other behavior services. But it's, we keep getting responses saying, well, they're too young, we just want to see, maybe they're just being children. So as a pediatrician, how do you approach this problem? Like, when do you start diagnosing, or how? And I can say that, getting the families on board is definitely a challenge. I work with a lot of families that come from Caribbean, various islands, and there's a big stigma when it comes to diagnosing anything. So they don't want to have that label. They see there is a problem, but they don't want to go to their pediatrician and get a diagnosis, so we can get them the services that they need. So would you say that there is a certain age where you can confidently diagnose or start diagnosing?
So that is a great question, and that question does not really have an answer, because everybody probably knows that autism in particular, and so is ADHD, is really a spectrum. It is not a singular diagnosis. And so there are children who have level 3 autism who are severely affected that we can diagnose probably at the age of 1, and sometimes these days even earlier. But the higher functioning the child on the spectrum, the later they get diagnosed. So, and the reason that there's multiple reasons for that. One of them is that we as a medical community really have not developed proper testing, and even the therapists and the psychiatrists really do not understand what high functioning autism looks like. But I think what a lot of people don't understand is that high functioning autism really, the deficits that children have are social in particular, and the social development happens later. So whatever is not working for them and or wherever their deficits are is not developed sometimes till the late teenage years or early adulthood. And so we really see a lot of children who come to us for a diagnosis of ADHD never really being talked about being on the spectrum, but suffering socially significantly. And so that's partially why I'm really interested in this, because the morbidity that comes with undiagnosed high-functioning autism is grave. So it is really a spectrum, not only of the autism, but on when you can make the diagnosis.
It seems we should do a separate evening just on this topic. We have so many questions and so much interest in it that we'll think about it for next year.
I have two related questions for James. The first one, while you're having a coughing fit. First is, which Central European language do you currently speak the best? And second, your ploy to get Slovak citizenship, is that with an eye to taking your career to Europe?
Why, thank you for asking. I've forgotten about Czech for a long time, so I strictly focus on Slovak. I also count Yiddish as Central European language. Would you consider that Central Europe? Yes. I'm recovering from something. I'm fine. It's just trust me, I'm fine. So if I'm going to speak Yiddish, I'd probably just revert to German. And to be specific, oh my God, the dialect of Yiddish we were speaking was kind of like a amalgamation of dialects. I'm fine. Okay, so as you can imagine, the Jewish diaspora is a diaspora. So dialects are all over the world, and they take on different lives of their own. Oh, how kind of you. Thank you. So the dialect we were speaking was a mixture of all these things. But the question about citizenship, would I like to work in Slovakia? Of course, I've always wanted to work abroad. So all my pictures disappeared. It should come as no surprise that I don't make PowerPoint presentations ever. So, but I would, love to work abroad, especially in Slovakia. And I've been studying film and TV acting for the past 2 years. And of course, if you know anybody in Slovakia, would send them my way.
Very good.
Okay, one more question.
All right, so this is a question kind of for everybody that participated tonight. And so I guess it has to be kind of brief. I thought perhaps a sentence on what is your favorite part about being Czechoslovakian or being related to being from a Czechoslovakian family? I'm curious, like what's the, one thing that's really standing out for you for being Czech or Czech related?
Great.
But then you have to answer that question too, if we now have to go around for everybody. So let's see, who were the speakers?
Got one right here.
Okay.
Well, you already addressed it.
But another thing is the cookies.
Let's go.
Right here. I would second the cookies, the kolachki, poppy seed in particular, and the music and the regard and the way music with my upbringing, and it continues the way the music enters part of my life, the way it is my life.
I must say, at the moment, since we have a new government, I'm not quite sure if I'm proud of being a Czech at the moment. But there are also moments, definitely we all know, besides the cookies, that there are people and places that are remarkable in the Czech Republic. And I think the more we all travel, we find that's actually a beautiful place to be. I mean, I still go back. Most of you live here and settled down here. So you maybe have a different perspective on that, but I do appreciate that I can, and I'm from that nice place and nice area.
I have to go with Smajak.
As a doctor, okay. So that came from Katerina, not from pediatrician, okay? Oh, Smajak.
Yeah, everybody has to know what Smajak is. It's a fried cheese. It's a Czech national food.
So raise your hand if you don't know what Smajak is. Oh, so we have a few people. So then you need to explain.
All right. Smajak is a fried cheese. It is a Czech national dish that was developed in the 50s when the government ran out of meat and tried to persuade the people to actually be vegetarian. So that was it.
Yeah, it's a staple in Czech pubs.
Well, I would have to say the community I've discovered here in New York, all the organizations, I've been really surprised, and I've met so many people, and I continue to go to all the great events. And I was just noticing before the event, the BBLA, Bohemian Benevolent and Literacy Association. What? Literary. Because a teacher had said to me just a couple of weeks ago about, because I was telling her about the letter that my great-grandfather had that was written a la Hungarian. And she was like, oh, well, so it's obvious how it's clear how, to what extent these people were trying to maintain their culture. And I thought that was really interesting. And because I was reading the blurb on the wall out there, why the BBLA exists. And so, yeah, that was my answer to the question.
What's my favorite thing about being Slovak? Outside of kapusnica? I'm so excited for Christmas. I'm going home tomorrow. I cannot wait. Kapusnica is a cabbage soup, and it's the best. Sauerkraut, yeah. But other than that, there's a certain like dryness and coldness to some Slovak people, and I don't mean that as an offense. I like it. Like, we don't ask if we don't care. You know what I mean? I don't know. Czech as well, sure, yeah. I don't even know if it matters, it feels like same thing, kind of. Or does it? Oh my gosh, am I offending people? Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to belong. I think, yeah, and we get stuff done. That's how I feel.
No, thank you. Yeah, I would say abroad it's still Czechoslovak. Nobody really distinguishes Czech and Slovak.
Okay, I think also Smajak, of course. I'm a vegetarian, so that's really hard in the Czech Republic because I was raised on pork, but and sometimes there's only kapustnica, the sauerkraut soup. So like vegetables were not like really available out of season in my time, so it was difficult to be a vegetarian. Smajak was sometimes the only option in a restaurant for like a non-meat-based food. So troubling a little bit. Anyways, it's much better now. But I think I'm very proud, or I'm really like that Czech nature, which was able to survive despite like difficulties in history and like some troubled political regimes sometimes we went through, and the strength of people to self-organize and still having life despite like the conditions were difficult. So I like that a lot. Yeah.
The Bohemian in me.
Can you say that again?
The Bohemian in me. Whatever that means.
Bohemianism.
Yeah, I don't know what it means, but it is in me. Yeah.
Okay. So now the person who asked has to answer.
Wait.
Oh, one more. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So my favorite part about Slovakia is that it's just hidden secret, and I believe that whatever is secret it's cool. So that's what I'm proud of.
All right, well, I guess I came up with a question. So, did you know that the Czechoslovakia is the most castle populous country in the world? So, I'm going to say castles.
Yeah.
And also, defenestration is a word that was invented for us Czechs, because when somebody occupies us, we make it hard for them by throwing ourselves out the window. I find that really kind of remarkable and utterly originally Czech. So there you go. Castles and defenestrations.
Very original. It's obvious you already had to think about it before you came here. Okay, I'm sure everybody has an answer to that. Maybe
nobody mentioned humor.
No.
Oh, it's a dry humor. Tamara mentioned that a little bit.
Tak, k vínu.
I'm sure everybody has answers to that, so maybe we can answer that. There will be like a reception after this, so let's make that a theme of our conversations, okay?
So just like you all to give a big hand for everyone who presented.
And
they were really amazing, and if you have Czech or Slovak heritage and you haven't done this before, maybe you should get in touch with Susanna. Please join us for some snacks.
And before you do, we have one more last announcement to make. So unfortunately, our master of ceremony, Chris, is leaving us for a sabbatical, just for half a year. But Chris, we have a small present for you, and it's under a Christmas tree. So let me bring it. Let me, baby Jesus came, not Santa, baby Jesus. In this context. So, since you're such a wonderful MC, and we will really miss that, and we don't know who will replace you, so here is a little golden Christmas ornament, Broadway style, only for you, and thank you so much, and we look forward to you coming back. So. Yeah, we are not doing bouquet, not doing champagne, because we believe Chris is coming back. So this is just a break, right?
I got to come back to teach in the fall.
Okay.